He did. He doesn't have his volume on. Turn your phone down all the way. Just turn your phone down.
It is. It's down all the way.
Yeah. No echo now. Yes,
I'm good.
I have deconstructed for 12 years. Him 2 years officially, but he was never saved. He never lived right. He was never into the church, right? Now that we are officially married and all these men on here think that I'm not, for some reason, they think that I'm not married for some reason. They just do. They're like, you ain't married. That's why you ain't got no husband. One of them literally said, why you ain't got no husband?
It's just jelly. That's all.
His family has chosen to disregard me, call me his little friend. He is the son of a pastor. We don't like to say pastor's son because we don't do titles, and I'll talk about that in the book as well. And we are on our journey, and that's what we're going to talk about. Hold on, I'm trying to do this one thing, and it's just not happening because I'm not going to be distracted and disrupted by this.
Yeah,
but go ahead, babe.
I was just sitting here listening and looking at the people. Yeah, my dad is a pastor. He has
just keeps doing that.
Written me off. He has kind of just thrown me to the side. I don't know if he even, feels like I'm his son anymore because I don't go to church, because I don't bow to the cloth and those different things like that. So, as being, the man that I am, I've been the man that I am today, or that I've been the last couple of years, fully deconstructed. Yeah, I don't conform. I don't buy in. I'm not tied to that anymore. And I make my own decisions. I'm my own man, and I chose to walk away from the church, not knowing at the time that my own dad would disown me because I made a decision to do so.
Right.
And it wasn't conducive to me anymore, and I chose to do something different. As simple as that.
Yeah.
And so having to deal with that backlash is something that I've dealt with already. So at this point, it's it is what it is.
Right.
I'm continuing to move forward with my lovely wife. We're gonna continue to build and manifest, and make this world ours.
I'm your little friend, remember?
Yeah.
That's what your daddy said. Your little friend.
Well, my little friend now is my little wife.
Exactly.
Big wife. So all that stuff, it's just him spazzing out underneath the confines of religious psychosis. That's all it is, and I do understand to a certain extent that it's not his fault.
Right.
And he just lacks the courage to walk away from it because he feels that there's life and death in that book. And there is life and death in that book, and it starts with you. I decided not to live my life that way. So therefore I can create and recreate my reality. And that book does not dictate what happens to me. I do that. I'm the God standing before you. She's the goddess standing before you on today. And that's what we're here, just to represent that freedom and that love between one another.
Right. Period. And Esquire said, "You all right, bro? My sister and brother kicked me to the curb too." We talking about the whole entire family.
Oh, the whole family.
Yes.
Sisters, in-laws,
right,
parents,
right,
biological, all of them, man. They don't. Hey, I actually, walked away from them before they claimed they walked away from me.
Right.
Because they was holding on to the faith, and God was going to bring back the prodigal son and all this nonsense. But man, I was in it. Like, my wife has expressed to y'all, I was, minister on the roster, praise team leader, the choir director, youth choir director, over the youth ministries, Bible study, all the different things, man. Wearing all these different hats. And as of today, I literally have nothing to show for it.
Right.
And had I not changed my perspective on that and just walked away from it, I still would be in the same position, not having anything to show for it.
So we're also on Instagram, but Instagram, if you want to see Deon, that's my husband. Remember the one they always talking about, she ain't got no husband, that's why you divorced. That's why your husband left you. That's why you're going to be single forever. We're on TikTok, same name as this page. And you can see him on YouTube. So yeah, that's how that works. We need to wake up. And here's the thing, people are waking up. Let me tell y'all something. 100,000 churches are scheduled to shut down this year. It's already happening. In Africa, the president just shut down 6,000 churches, closed the doors, and said they need to get a theology degree, but still showed, so that they have to close their doors until they become, theologically correct. But I'm telling you, they're going to close because of the pandemics that are going to be happening. Governmental structures and organizations are going to shut them down, and then people won't be able to afford to go to church. They just won't be able to afford to because of the things that are happening. And yes, the church dum-dums, somebody asked it on Instagram, they're going to keep coming from me because they're new. They see one video and then boom. Nobody care about Trump. I don't care about Trump. When people come over here and talk about Trump, I don't care. That's the problem. We get distracted by some of the wrong things. You know what I mean? And he don't have nothing to do with my life. He's not thinking about me. I'm not thinking about him. What we focus on is life after church, reconstructing, and somebody came in here talking about, oh, I already know who she voted for. I don't vote. Judge if you want to, because what they're going to do in the White House, they're going to do. And when you vote, you just give consent. That's it. 150,000, great. The last time when I wrote about it in the book, it was 100,000. I don't keep up with it, but I'm glad you said that. 150,000. Yes, 150,000 are scheduled to close. And then I have I did read, all I saw was Trump. Oh, no, I'm not. I don't even talk about the, first of all, don't write in caps. No. Just tell me you missed my comment. We don't disrespect over here. I don't know who the hell you think you're talking to with all the caps. Bring it down. I don't know, but bring that shit down. My husband here too, so we ain't doing that today. Okay, use your inside voice. That's all I'm saying. I'm talking so the it's moving. So if all I see is Trump with a question mark, you need to give clarity. So yes, we love you too. Insider in Florida that is working with the government said that they have driven around and there are locks on the doors of Black churches. I didn't say cursing. Let me get you out of here. Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
So here's the thing. Like, if you want to communicate with us, it's not a problem. She probably fits the poof pie, you be gone. But if you want to communicate, we're open here for communication. One thing that we don't do, we do not debate. We don't yield to anyone or any unrealized power, like God or any other superstitious religion. We just don't subscribe to any of that. The only people that we believe in are the ones that you see right in front of you right now. That's it. The only people that we pray to are the ones that you're looking at right now. The only ones that we abide by are the ones that you see here before you. That's it.
That's it. And
anything
Gabriel,
other than that, and if you don't agree with it, use your thumb. Go north all the way up.
Right. And Gabriel, right. And if we're weird, you're still engaging. So what does that say about you? Everybody stretch your hands toward the screens right now. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Release them. Amen.
Yeah, that's all.
Amen.
See, we can demonstrate it a lot easier than some of you realize what you're doing. Like, so we don't, again, we don't mean no harm, but if this is not your place, just leave.
Period.
We don't go into anybody's live or anybody's space and tell them what they should or should not be doing.
Right.
If you don't like what we're saying, if you don't like what we do, what we're representing, leave.
Just leave.
It's free to leave. Now, if you stay, you're going
to get dragged.
You're going to get it every time.
Right.
We're not Christians.
No, we're not saved. We're the heathens.
We're no religion. We're straight up heathens.
Yeah.
If you come at us, we're going to give you 1,000 times on top of what you come with.
It costs you nothing to be respectful. Yeah. And that's the one thing about me is I don't go to anybody's page. And most of us do not go to people's page and talk about them or make any kind of comments. We're too busy, reconstructing life after church. I have been out for 12 years. He's been out for 2. But even while he was in it, he was just doing it to help his dad, who is a pastor. What is Empty the Pews? I'm so glad you asked.
Hit him.
I'm so glad that you asked. I love what you're saying. Empty the pews, empty their pockets. A couple of months ago, I started a church boycotting churches that are not doing what they're supposed to do. The ones that are not helping the community as they should be, right? And why did I start that? Because I got tired of seeing people sending me videos about churches doing that. But more than that, pastors and church folk were in my comments telling me I was a devil, I was a witch. That's why I have a little witch hat, right? and I'm going to hell. And I said, you know what? I'm going to boycott y'all. I'm about to use my platform and boycott you. Many of you have already been boycotting the church because you stopped going. You just stopped going.
Simple.
You stopped paying. You were doing that before I even came along, before you even knew me, right? You just stopped doing it. But collectively, I said, I'm going to use my platform and I'm going to boycott you. So here's what I said. I said, Christians, this Sunday, I want you to go ask your pastor, what did we do with the money this week? Not at the end of the year. What did you do? What did we do, Pastor? And so they did. Some of them started getting shunned. Some of their pastors started literally turning their back. I had a couple message me and say, I just went with my husband and we got removed from our position.
Yeah, some of them got kicked.
Yes, they got kicked out the church, right?
Dudes,
they got kicked out of the church.
They told them to pay their tithes for the amount.
Right.
You know, they needed that money.
Yeah, they told them to get out of just leave. One was the church secretary and her husband was a deacon. And so people are going to start waking up as they go ask their pastor questions. So that's what it is. We're emptying the pews and emptying their pockets. Why? Because I don't know what your race is, specifically for Black people. This is one of the main reasons why we are behind in every way, in every area, because we have been giving billions to the church. We're done with that. If you want to serve God, you want to love God, you can do that, right? And since church doors are closing, I'm a real estate agent. So in Texas, once those buildings, which is already happening, locks are being put on the doors, I'm going to obtain those buildings. And then whoever has something that's going to happen, that's going to help the community, hey, boom, we got a building for you. You want to do what? You want to give out diapers and this and that every month? Okay, boom. Let's start your nonprofit and we're going to show them what those buildings should have been used for in the first place. Mm-hmm. We just don't have time for all the foolishness, especially us. Okay, I stopped going 12 years ago. 2 years from him, but even while he was in it, he wasn't in it. Okay.
I was going to the building singing the song.
Period.
That's what we were doing.
Right. His dad is a pastor currently. He was an ordained minister, worship leader, youth pastor, all the things. First one to open the door, last one to leave. I was married to a pastor, first lady, worship leader, went to Bible seminary. What else? All the things. Prophetess, psalmist, usher in the presence of God. That was me. I was the one that played the music to woo you into giving all your money. I didn't know I was sweet. Okay. I was the one that played the shout music. That, and make you do your lips like, That was me. So that's what we're doing. We are boycotting churches because they are the ones that are taking all the money. You want to boycott an Asian business? Go ahead. But where is that energy on Sunday morning for the ones that have really been stealing from our community? At least you get something back when you go to an Asian business. This is not about me agreeing or disagreeing. I'm just saying, when you go to a church on Sunday, you're not going to have nothing to show for it in 10 years. You're still going to be in debt. You're still going to be broke. Show me a billionaire that has come out of church because of the church. Because just by tithing and giving their money, they became a billionaire. Not because they went and started a business or they, invested. I'm talking about from tithing, sowing, and giving their money. We are on YouTube and Instagram. Go ahead, babe. These Negro pastors better get real creative because they're coming for that 501c3 status for forcing them to pay back taxes on the property those church buildings are on. And there has been pastors, if you sneaking and listening, which you always do, a law was just passed, look up the bill, where they are going to start checking these pastors. 6,000 churches have already closed in Africa. So you're on that. This is a comment from Instagram. And they're going to start holding them accountable and closing their doors. It's already started in Florida. Mm-hmm. So pastors, you got to learn how to do something besides hoop and stink up microphones every week. And you have to learn how to...
disgusting. I swear, it is so disgusting. And we sit up there and watch that every single Sunday and get excited.
We used to.
Man, that is just it's just a conditioning situation.
Right.
You might as well just go to the movie theaters. At least you get some satisfaction out of that.
Right.
You will actually get what you paid for.
Esquire, do you have a word for us on today? Y'all, I got guests today, so we got to take up an honorarium in a minute. You got a word for us, Esquire? Hold on, listen. I might have to take my mic off. I hope it don't echo too bad. Well, I won't be able to hear him. Hold on. Let me fix it, y'all. It has never done that. Turn off your mic.
It is.
No, let me mute you. No, let me mute you. Ooh, y'all, sorry about that. On your phone, wherever you're live. Hold, let me get there you go. Boom. That's all. So you just got to mute when somebody else is talking. Esquire, do you have a word for us on tonight?
Not really.
Okay, good. Just sit in the box. We love to see your face. You know, there's an anointing. I feel an anointing. I have a prophetic word for you. Not just playing.
You know what?
Yeah.
I have to say, you know how I left the church?
How?
It's going to sound kind of funny. You remember Frederick K.C. Price?
Oh, yes. Money coming. No, that's the other one. Leroy Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
He asked the church one day, I was watching TV. He said, from Friday to Sunday is how many days?
Okay.
3?
Friday, Saturday.
Okay, wait. Saturday, Sunday, 2 days.
Friday evening to Sunday morning is how many days?
Saturday, Sunday, 2-ish?
It's really a day and a half.
Yeah,
it's a day and a half. Don't be making me look stupid. Okay, go ahead.
So why these preachers always say Jesus died on Friday and rose on Sunday, but in the Bible it said that he was in the earth for 3 days? Yeah. And everybody hollering, amen. Like, dude, can y'all count?
Right. That's true.
And he had me, this is back in 2002, and he had me thinking. And that's how I started
your deconstruction journey?
Deconstruction.
Yeah. That's good.
I was a sound engineer.
Okay.
At my church. I started there in 1991. Mm-hmm. And I was dedicated.
Yeah, in it.
I mean, dedicated. Mm-hmm. I wasn't getting paid one dime. You know, volunteering. And oh man, it's just so much. I could go on and on and on. You were
serving unto the Lord. You just need to serve, not get paid, just serve.
You're gonna get blessed. Thank you, brother. You're gonna get blessed. And
right.
I'm looking around like, no, motherfucker, you blessed.
Right now.
Right now. For sure.
And I was kind of on staff. In the past, or I was quote unquote under. Mm-hmm. They was building a church. And he was asking, how are we going to get these people to give so we could pay for this doggone church?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, dude, it's so much, man. Y'all got me on the spot. So
I got you.
Sounds good.
I got you. And that's the thing, but it wasn't always church hurt. People will say, oh, it was church hurt.
No,
that's why you left.
Not church hurt at all.
I think it was church hurt. That's what it was. That's why you left, huh?
Oh, man.
Exactly. That's what they're saying.
No, absolutely.
You got to unmute your mic.
Look at that part in the Bible where it says, Jesus said, ye are gods. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, how come the pastor don't preach about that?
Job security.
You never heard one preacher preach about Jesus saying that we are gods. Okay. I had a doctor that I went to because I used to be a soldier and I got out on disability. Okay. That's another story. But anyway,
right.
She's on TikTok too.
Okay.
And she's a devout Christian. And I told her that part. Do you know she told me to be quiet, that we are not God?
Oh, my mama.
This other lady told me, no, it don't say it like that. It was saying that we are a God. Like, it ain't no A in front of God. We are God. We are God. Like, dude, quit trying to diminish yourself. Quit trying to minimize yourself.
Right.
You know, I could go on and on and on, but I'm going to get off of here and let y'all handle this. This is y'all platform.
This is our platform. And that's why I don't allow, okay, you can either stay there or mute yourself. I don't care if you get down. I do let people come up on the box 2-3 minutes or whatever, share. You can sit, and then Deon's going to share. I'm going to tell you this, that when you talk about, hey, why are you diminishing? Because of course that's job security. But when they say you're a God, you're made in the image of God. I broke this down before. How I'm not, yes, on TikTok. Yes, you can, as long as you're not a Christian or a church person, because this is our space and we don't do all of that. I'm not, you can mute your mic too, Esquire. I'm not made in the image of God, because in church they used to say that all the time. You're made in the image of God. You're made in the image of God. No, because I would not put my child or my grandchild on an altar and wrap them up with figs and set them on fire to prove. I wouldn't tell my son to do that. Put my grandbaby on the altar. And so I can see how much you trust me. And if he did something wrong, I wouldn't just say, hey, you're getting kicked out, just like he kicked him out of the garden for one thing, right? I'm not made in that image. I wouldn't just flood people. I wouldn't put my son in the belly of a fish for 3 days because he didn't want to go. Now you ready to go where I told you to go? Now you ready to go to school? Okay, you was trying not to go to school. You finna get in this well for 3 days. Now you ready? I wouldn't do that. So I'm not made in the image of that God. I wouldn't take a little teenage girl and say, okay, you finna get pregnant. I'm finna put my seed in you so that you can give birth. I just wouldn't do those things. Yeah. Okay, you have to unmute your mic, love. Who has lost their absolute mind?
Plug back in.
I do?
Yeah, because if I unmute it,
okay.
It's gonna do it.
Yeah, we're gonna get this mic. I broke my mic, so we're gonna get another one. Right. Who lost their mind? Mel Drum? Go ahead, babe.
All right, so I just wanted to address, why pastors don't preach that we are gods. Simply because if they preach that we are gods, like they preach that we should tithe, that would empower us. It would empower us to the state where we'll realize that we don't need pastors. So why would they empower us to exclude them? Mm-hmm. So they don't teach that. They teach everything that's going to keep us enslaved in that religion. Pay your tithes, do this, or God's going to snatch your nose off your face. Whatever it is that they're going to instill in us is all fear-based to keep us coming back to that place. Yeah. No, pastors don't sit up there and teach you how to adequately study the Bible because they're not reading the Bible and adequately studying it. They're not going to teach you how to be God within yourself and to go within to become whatever it is that you desire to be, because they want you to depend on them to tell you what you should and should not do and what you would and should not become. So that's why they don't teach certain things, because the moment that you empower a person is the moment that you actually humble yourself and let that person know that they don't need you for everything. So just to put it in a nutshell, that's why they don't teach certain things. That's one reason why they don't teach that tithing is not required. Because they know if they teach tithing not required, what they say, Negroes won't give.
That's what that pastor
told me. So they try to tie tithing to fear and try to tie tithing to blessings. If you don't tithe, you don't get blessed. And if you want to tithe, you're going to have to tithe and give your last so God can bless you. All that is a spiritual psychosis hamster wheel that keeps you wrapped up in fear.
Come on, somebody. Ordabashe, I made up some tongues. Ordabashe. So, Kush, what's up? He said he's an atheist.
What's up, Kush? Talk to us. I think you got to pull that out.
Yeah. Man, I can't be doing that. We'll figure it out.
Believing in Christianity, it wasn't until I got older. My dad, he was a non-religious theist. He believed in higher power, but he didn't believe in religion. He didn't accept any sort of religion. Mm-hmm. For me, I kind of went to the point of just being atheist because I recognized that I have no reason to say that any one religion out of all the other religions are true. Mm-hmm. And it's essentially the same case for God, right? At least from my perspective, right? Like, I'm just not convinced. I'm open to saying that at least anything could be possible, but yeah. I just don't see any good reason. And whenever I debate with believers, I get nothing but flawed arguments. I get arguments built on logical fallacies and assumptions and all that. So, if there is a God that's willing to punish me for that, who's supposed to be good, it doesn't make any sense to me, because what I'm looking at doesn't make any sense. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it makes sense.
Right.
There it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Is your mic on? I mean,
no.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to come over here.
Just said.
Yes, go ahead.
Isn't it kind of funny? God is know all and be all, right? Know all, and he made everybody and everything, right? So he know that I was going to fuck up and you're going to throw me in hell for what you made me do?
For what
Yes, yes, exactly what he did. That's crazy.
it's like, if God is all knowing, right? Like if you believe, and like, I get the point that not all Christians agree with that concept that God is all knowing, but for those who do, right, God will be all knowing, meaning God is going to create person A. God already knows whether person A will make it into the kingdom or whether they'll be tortured or not, yet continues to create a person who he knows will be tortured. How is that a good being? Like,
that is not a good thing.
How does that make sense? I got another one for you.
And it's not, it doesn't.
You ready?
Yes, go for it.
Is Judas in heaven or hell?
Because he did the will of God and he did what he's supposed to do.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he killed himself.
That's true.
Because he couldn't handle what he did. Well,
Right.
God put that on him.
Mm-hmm.
So is he in heaven or hell? I wish somebody would say he in hell. I'll bust him in their forehead.
He's in both.
That split him in half.
He's in both.
Because he wouldn't dare put nothing on you couldn't bear.
Right.
Get out of here with that, man.
Right.
That's crazy. Nah. So yeah, I mean everything that you're saying, Kush, I absolutely believe in, and I absolutely agree with you on that. Simply because it just doesn't make sense. It don't make sense. The biggest thing for me is that if you so love me so much, why do you allow so many bad things to happen, not just to me, but to everybody else? Like, it's crazy work, right? You created this devil character. You created this devil character supposedly and put him in this book. And he's supposed to be the evilest of all evils, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't do shit to him throughout the entire book. But you punished every single body that did a slightest thing against your will.
100%.
So,
but you and the devil hanging out having lattes, plotting on Job, and Job ain't did nothing to nobody.
I'm gonna bring up Job.
See what I'm saying? It just don't make sense.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to believe and map our lives after that crap. That's crazy.
Like, there has to be some level of cognitive dissonance behind this. Like, you can't sit there and act like that makes sense or that's reasonable. Right. I mean, like, at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't have any kids, right? Mm-hmm. But I would imagine anyone in this life who has kids, you would do everything to protect your kids, right?
Absolutely.
You wouldn't put them in a position where you would say, "Oh, I told you to do this, but you didn't do it, so therefore you have to suffer or be tortured."
Right.
No, like, and if that was the case, I would not consider that person to be a good parent. You wouldn't be a good parent. You'd be a terrible parent. Like, why would you do that? Mm-hmm. Like, a good parent will protect your kid regardless.
Right.
And it doesn't make sense how God is supposed to be good and all-knowing. Like, we have to remove some of these traits at least. Like, maybe God isn't all-knowing and maybe he's trying his best, and then that might make a little bit more sense. But if he's supposed to be all-knowing, he's supposed to be good, he's supposed to be, all-powerful, why is he creating a situation where he knows would fail? Like the Garden of Eden. He knew that would fail. He already knew. If he's all-knowing, he knew that if he put the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve would fail. Right. The whole situation will go sideways. And but yet he chose to do it anyway. To me, that makes zero sense whatsoever.
I know why he did
it.
Can I tell you why he did it?
Why?
Why he put them trees in there?
Why were they there in the first place?
Why were they there in the first? Let me tell you exactly why he did it. Because it was entertainment.
What is that? Meaning?
Just think about it. It was why do you think violence is in movies? It's entertainment. Mm-hmm. Why do you think there's always a pro and a con? It's entertainment.
Right.
He already knew they was gonna fuck up. So how can I entertain myself? Give them something to help them.
He's playing.
Like, I'm so serious though.
Okay.
If he already knew what was gonna happen, why did he do it? For entertainment.
He was watching from above with Michael and Gabriel, like, watch these motherfuckers.
Well, he did do that. He did do that with Joe when he was when he was talking to Satan. So here's the thing. Raymond is here. He's a former pastor. I'm going to share this with you, and then Raymond, take the mic. Here's the plot twist. Everybody will say, how could a God do this? He's messed up. He's evil. We really can take comfort in knowing that type of God does not exist. That actually would make people feel a whole lot better. So what happens is when you're 15, 16, when you're 8 years old, they tell you to come to church, give your heart, give your life to somebody you don't even know. Just open up your heart, lift up your hands right now, and you're going to say the sinner's prayer. I accept Jesus into my heart. I accept him. I believe that he died for me. So bam, you have no consent as a young child to get into a relationship with somebody you do not know. Then they give you the Bible and say, okay, now go learn about him. Then you start to learn all these things about him, right? But then once you wake up, you realize he's messed up. He's evil. He did this. And then you spend years being mad and angry at God because my granny paid all these tithes. You're mad at a God that does not exist. That's the thing. Hey, YouTube, I'm over here on TikTok, but I just want to bring y'all on Instagram. We're here too. He does not exist. And this is not about atheists, because Kush was saying he's an atheist. It's not about, oh, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in God. I'm talking about that God does not exist. He cannot. It doesn't make sense, because we that do have kids, like he said, even if you don't have kids, I wouldn't kick my child out of the house after their very, very first sin, because you're a baby. You just got here. Adam and Eve had just got there. So if I'm suckling and you bite my breast, oh, you out of here.
You're trying to figure it out.
Right. It doesn't make sense. So we can really take comfort in knowing that God doesn't exist. Then you have to figure out, okay, what do I believe? So Raymond, former pastor, go for it. Hey, y'all.
Good evening, panel.
Hey.
Thank you for letting me up. I hope everybody is doing well tonight. So, as you mentioned, I am a former pastor. I spent 3 odd years in ministry as a musician, 3 years as a pastor. Didn't go to seminary, but it was when I went back to school after I stepped down from pastoring where the scales lifted from my eyes, especially in intro to philosophy, studying Kant, and then Immanuel Kant, and then going into my philosophy of religion. But then not only that, just seeing how supposedly people who were people of God, who were supposed to be people of God, who I thought we were on the same team, I saw how people will switch on you when it seems like you're going to do better than them, or you're on a higher trajectory, especially people in church.
Yeah.
And so, seeing that and experiencing that from somebody I called a mentor really broke and shattered me. And then, being separated from my son, how he was able to influence my son's mother from separating us in worship, seeing how people defended that, and seeing how people protected the institution versus the individual. That really opened my eyes, and it made me sit. Now, I will admit, I still do provide music for churches, because hey, that's how I get paid. As a part of how I get paid. I ain't mad at
money.
But as far as being a leader in the system, I cannot be a part of a system that protects the church, or protects the system versus protecting the person. And so, this is still very new. I'm like a year and a half, 2 years in this.
Okay.
I haven't really been public about it because I've really recently been able to articulate being an agnostic theist, and I'll land here. I think part of a lot of my salvation was fear of hell and fear of abandonment. Fear of hell from God, and fear being abandoned by people that I love, because I grew up in the faith and create community. But when I gave myself permission to let go, I think that's when I really gave myself permission to explore and evolve. And I'll land there. And again, thank you so much for allowing me to come up.
One question. So you didn't leave because of church hurt, Raymond?
Oh, church hurt was definitely a part of it.
Okay.
But
that wasn't the main.
That wasn't, yeah, because there was still a part of me that loved it. But when I went back to school and really began to have freedom to think and be around other people, other diversities, other cultures, other people in other religions, it opened my eyes.
Okay. Kush, you about to say something? Or you got it, babe? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was asking. So you said you're an agnostic theist, and I don't typically come across so many agnostic or at least people who admit they're agnostic theists. So like, would you argue you have faith in your belief system?
No, I don't have faith in the system. I just have faith in I want to say I don't have faith in the system. I have faith in myself, even though I still believe there's something up there. But there's faith that I have a faith in myself, because it's like if you believe in the system, or if you have faith in the system is going to fail you every single time. But when you put yourself in it, and when you believe in yourself, I think you can make things happen. So yeah, it's the system I don't believe in.
Right.
Yeah, I might answer your question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely. It's definitely an interesting concept. I mean, because once again, I'm not too familiar with at least people who admit that they're agnostic theists. So
Right.
that is, it seems it seems to be a bit rare. But yeah, I mean, what the heck was I about to say? I forgot.
It's cool. Go ahead.
I wanted to kind of piggyback on what you said, Raymond, and it came off clear as day to me. You just went and kind of explained that the person or the being or however you identify who that you believe in is yourself, and you said it clear. You said, when I finally gave myself permission, like you've always had the permission. You've always had the authority to make any decision that you want. See, what religion does, it strips the man of their power.
Come on.
And it has you direct all of your power outside of yourself, looking at some book, looking at some cloud in the sky for some guy to be riding on and come down and swoop up people. That is never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
We're in the last days, babe. Stop telling people that.
We were raptured a couple of months ago, wasn't we?
Or
whenever. Matter of fact, I'm just going to start a new trend. The rapture's going to be tomorrow. I'll see y'all tomorrow when it doesn't happen. But realistically, we've all have had the power within us. Once we get away from a quote unquote structured pattern of religion or whatever it may be, I tell my kids all the time, and we talk about this daily. I don't teach my kids to believe in nothing outside of themselves. Every single time I ask them, who do we believe in? That answer is always, I believe in myself because I'm exceptional and I can do anything and everything that I put my mind to. That's our belief system. It starts right here. Nothing outside of us is anything until we start cultivating from within and just creating it.
Right.
We're beings to create what our reality. Everybody can do this. But it starts with, I love this, giving yourself permission. That was powerful, Raymond. That's good, bro.
So somebody,
thank you so much, man.
Go ahead. If you want to respond to him, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry to interrupt, and I say that I gave myself permission because when you've been indoctrinated in the faith since you were young, it's like you look for external validation whenever you want to make a move.
Mm-hmm.
When you want to go to college, you want to pursue anything outside of church, you want to pursue a certain career, or you just have a different thought process than everyone else.
Right.
I spent so much of my life trying to not buck the system and just please everyone until I forgot about myself. And that wasn't in just a moment. That was years. I'm talking about 20, 25 years of just denying who I was. Even when it came down to relationships, the women that I talked to, the women that I entertained, you know what I mean? It was like, it wasn't authentic. It felt forced. You know what I mean? So again, I spent a lot of time seeking permission from others because it was taught so much. But when I finally said, no, I'm a grown man. I got my own mind. I got my own path. That's when everything changed for me mentally. So thank you for bringing that up.
Sure. I have a question for, maybe Kush. Somebody just asked our dear sister LaShawn, what is an agnostic atheist? Here's the thing. Before you answer that, people ask me all the time, am I an atheist? I do not claim that I'm an atheist because I am a goddess. So I do believe in a God. I believe in myself, as we've said before. However, I am a decider. I get up every day and I decide what life is going to be like for me. And I'm actually in the comments typing from my manifestation page. I had so many titles in the church. I'm exhausted. I personally, and I'm saying, and so Kush, that may not be your experience, but when you've had 25 years of being you the first lady, you the pastor's wife, you the prophetic psalmist, you the psalmist of the hour, you're the ordained minister, you're the theology student, you're all those things, right? I'm tired. I just want to be Dorian Marie, and I just believe in myself. But for those that want to know, what is an agnostic atheist?
So an agnostic. Oh, I'm sorry.
Both of you shall answer. So Kush, you go first.
I want to address her point. Yeah, I do want to address those points. So agnosticism and Gnosticism solely address whether you claim to know or not. It's simply a claim of knowledge, essentially a certain level of confidence. Atheism and theism address whether you believe. So theism simply means that I'm convinced that a God exists. The term atheism means that I'm not convinced that a God exists. Agnosticism means that I don't claim to know. Gnosticism means that I claim to know. So you can be a person who is a Gnostic theist, who is essentially not only convinced that a God exists, but they also claim to know that a God exists, or at least claim to know that a God's existence is necessary or required for our existence. Agnostic and agnostic theism, and Raymond, I think Raymond is an agnostic theist, which is strange because I thought he was a Christian. I was kind of confused.
Raymond said he's a former pastor.
Yeah. Oh, former pastor. Okay. Yeah. Like that's what I was wondering about. But agnostic theist is essentially a person who is convinced of at least some sort of higher power, but they don't claim to know, meaning like they're just convinced, but maybe they might be willing to admit that I might be wrong, or maybe there isn't a creator, right? Agnostic atheist is my position, where I'm saying I don't claim to know because I have no way to verify or falsify any sort of God claim.
Thank you.
And I'm also not convinced that there is or has to be a God. And then you have Gnostic atheism, which most religious people seem to label most atheists as. And Gnostic atheism is essentially, I'm not only do I lack belief in a God, but I'm also going to the length of claiming that no God exists, or God's existence is impossible. So those are essentially, there's really like, when it comes to a belief in God, there's really like 4 positions that you can take. And that's
where you land on
one of those 4.
Okay, Raymond, what you got?
He stole all the thunder.
Hey, he hit it right on the nail, though. He did
But he
good,
hit it right on the nail. Yeah. And it took me a minute because I'm like, I still felt like, okay, there has to be a God or something. But I can't fully say I'm convinced. So when I did my studies and I did, the research on what all of it is, I was able to come to the conclusion, like, I'm not sure, but I'm not all the way convinced either. I hope I'm making sense.
Right. So this is where we are. Where do we learn that from? That there has to be a God. That's what I'm saying. That's what I talk about with church folk and religion. Everything that you believe, somebody told you that came from somewhere. So when I get on here and we just start talking, I do videos, people come in and say, God told me to tell you this, or you're going to hell. How do you know that? How do you know that even exists? Or God told me, or God this, that came from somewhere. You weren't born with that. So especially us, that's, our history. Why do we have to have a God? Why does he have to be a he? Why does he have to be one? Why do we have to have that in order to have peace and not have fear of what's on the other side, when none of us know what's on the other side? So that's why I choose to wake up every day, be my best version. And whatever you choose to believe, whatever label, is it going to make you a better person and make you be better to, the next person? Yes, especially us. What church home you go to. I mean, you can be in the middle of Walmart, Target, if you have to go to Target, wherever you go, Kroger, and somebody asks you, can you help me with that can of spaghetti up there? You grab it. What church you go to? You got a church home where you serve.
I'm going to put the can back up and walk off.
Like, and that has to be our identity. And if you don't remember, we was in Sprouts and that lady just walking around with a plate of food, asking everybody, what church home you got? We just stared at her. Our kids was there, so I couldn't cuss her out. But, you know, that's the first thing that they will ask you, because that has to be your identity. And especially Black people that are in the church is their identity. Pastor is their identity. That's why they get so triggered at my videos and anybody else's videos, because you're attacking my identity. No, that's because you don't know who you are, and you have decided that the church is my identity. You about to say something?
No, I'm taking it all in. My boy Kush got my head hurting over here with all them different terms and whatnot, but you did it though. I love it. But Raymond, you and I have similar backgrounds. You know, my father was a pastor. I'm an ordained minister. I was the youth director, a youth minister, taught Bible study, preached on Sundays. I was of the praise team. I was over the youth choir. I was over the adult choir. Had a bunch of different hats, doing that stuff every single week. And throughout the week, man, that it drives you nuts after a while, brother. And it was driving me to the point where I just had to make a decision. And it's until you develop that confidence within yourself to simply just put yourself first. I mean, literally, put yourself first. But they're not going to tell you to put yourself first, because they want you to continue to bring that money into that building. But it's all about cultivating that confidence within yourself, man, to just step away. You know, it took me some time when I first stepped away from the church. You know, I was still like, oh, I believe in God. And yeah, I was kind of reading my Bible a little bit. But then those questions that I started asking before I left started coming back up. And the biggest question was why? Like, why do I believe in this stuff? And it's simply because I wasn't given a choice to believe in anything else. This is what I was born into from birth. So it kind of becomes a part of your identity until you actually grow up, and then those questions start coming. And then people can't answer these questions. And then they get mad at you for asking them. Like, but there's a reason you can't answer these questions.
Oh, yeah.
And so because you can't answer these questions, I started questioning, should I be even doing this? I think I should just start focusing on myself, because I probably, if I, do the math right, I probably could have been a millionaire by this age if I'd have just saved up the tithe money that I was taking to this deal.
Go ahead. Raymond, what you got?
And not only that, it's like the time you waste, you feel like you wait. Well, I won't say wasted.
It's not wasted.
Spent, but spent, and like for me, like you, like I first started off as a musician, then moved up to youth pastor, then was a music director for years, playing keys, teaching choirs, all of that. But once I started seeing that people weren't really especially people in the church wasn't as intellectually there like I thought they were, then that's when I was like, okay, hold up, because I see this here, you see this here, and what you're saying doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I mean? And it's like there was a convincing that I didn't know about, and then it really started to look like groupthink. And once I saw that, then I had to question my own sanity. But I guess the thing that did it for me was when I wanted to leave and they felt like I needed their blessing or I needed their
permission.
Permission, you know what I mean? But when I stepped away, it was like I lost community, lost people that I thought. But it really answered the question. I said answer the questions, but it made me it confirmed my skepticism, and it confirmed the concerns that I had, because I'm like, okay, this ain't what I thought it was. And so like stepping away. I mean, I haven't really stepped away because I still play for different churches as a keyboardist and musician, just because again, that's how I earn. But I guess
it's a profession,
professionally. But I have not had a community that I could say I'm locked into, because it's like I know I'm going to get trapped into the same group think if I go right back into it, and I don't want to contribute to that system that harmed me.
So here's how I stopped. I mean, when I was in the church, I stopped playing in the church because, and I just went and got an outside job, because I started to see, not that I started to see, I knew it, but I was waking up as to where the money and how it was being spent, and how they were putting big bellied African kids on the screen talking about we're sending money to missions. But I'm in the business meeting. No, we're not. You're getting paid, Pastor. I'm getting a check, the bills, the utilities, because I was a musician, and anybody else that was on staff, his brother was getting paid for what? Because he opened a church, whatever. And so then I started to say, I don't want to be a part of the problem. So then I got a job on the outside. Number two, none of us wasted time. I know we feel like we've wasted time and we wasted money. Time is an illusion. Money is energy. You can always get that back and redeem that if you believe that. Right. The second or the third thing is a pastor came to me in the inbox, and which was good. And he said, and I want us to all address this. He said, okay, sis, I hear what you're saying, but for us to close the doors to the church, the Black church specifically was the cornerstone for Black people. That's where they met. That's where they came together. And they always mention the civil rights era. Okay. And he said, you know, how does that, you know, that was the cornerstone. And I told him, I said, what was doesn't mean that that's what we need right now. What was does not always seem like it's going to work now. That's why people switch mates, they get divorced, they switch jobs because that season is over. When they were in the Black church in the civil rights era, those pastors were fighting for our rights. Mm-hmm. These pastors are fighting for our tithes. That's a totally different fight. And the money that was going into the church back then was to protect the pastors because they were actually in the pulpit talking, you know, about what we need to do to get us to be integrated, whatever they were preaching about. But that was to protect them. That was for travel when they were getting together with the marches. That money was being used for something. Today, we already know what it's being used for. There's no fight. We don't see pastors in the street really fighting about anything. They wait for something to happen, and then they get the mic, Pastor Jamal Bryant, and then they become relevant all of a sudden. We need to get out here. We need to get out here and the people and, you know, Cyrus and Chow. And then they want to be, and then they go back into their little corners after that's over. So to me, what I told him was, just because that's what it was for then doesn't mean that it's for now. It's a new era. It's a new, diaspora, as they would say. But pastors today are not in the street fighting for our rights about anything. They're fighting for our money, fighting for our time. And there is no civil, like, here's the thing. You will go into a church that has 20 people. 12 of them are the armor bearers. The 8 that are left are his family members. Why do you have 12 armor bearers? What are they protecting you from? You know what I'm saying? So the purpose of the church then is not the same today. That's why people are getting together and they're just giving directly to the community. That's why people are gathering on their own and they're waking up from the church and they're realizing it's not relevant for me anymore. It's not as important as it used to be. They're just not. And plus the older generation, they're going to have to die away anyway for us really to have, I'm just saying, for us to really move forward. Right. So go ahead, Raymond, but address the part where, you know, they're like, but that was the cornerstone, but that was a different purpose than what we have today.
And you're absolutely right. And let me say this, like in the civil rights era, number one, there was no internet. There was just newspapers, no cell phones. There was telephones, home phones. So with that being said, not a lot of people had a lot of information a lot of the people then didn't have the information that we have now. And plus church, and for lack of a better term, was kind of like the internet, right?
Yes.
It was like where people got the information, where people got where people had community, where things were being addressed, where issues were being addressed, where you can meet new people. It was kind of like it was the internet, quote unquote, of their day. And so with that being said, yes, it was important for the civil rights movement because there was certain information that needed to be out. Certain people needed a platform so that politically we can move forward and politically we could have certain rights. But I don't see the church being as relevant in the civil rights movement today because the church, or any civil rights at all, because it's become a big place of capitalism.
Oh yes.
And when the church took on capitalism and wore that cape, that's when especially the Black church, that's when it began to lose its edge. When we have more preachers knowing about T.D. Jakes than Jeremiah Wright, that was an issue. Yeah. I'm saying because we focus more, especially in my generation, on prosperity than we did, community. And so I'll land here. The church was important for that time because of the lack of information and the lack of information that Blacks had then. But I don't really see it being a necessary source now since it's moved to capitalism. And I hope I'm Landon.
No, that's true.
With it.
Deon, you got next. Let me say this, but that's because back then there was a purpose for the Black church during the civil rights era to further Black people. Even though Martin said at the end, I wish I hadn't did this. I think I led my people into a fire and we should have just stayed separate. But at least back then they were attempting to better things for Black people. We don't see that collectively in the church today. That's why I'm like, empty the pews, empty their pockets. Let's take this money back, invest it in ourselves, become a better version of yourself, lose the weight, get healthy, help your neighbor. And it's really that simple. So to me, if you ask a pastor today, and I've already asked them, they've already came on my Instagram, and a woman came on there and she thought because she had a collar, she wasn't going to get it. I said, ma'am, you can get it too. Just because you're a woman pastor with a collar around your neck. She said, it is not the church's responsibility to help the community. We're here to save your soul. The comment is still on Instagram under one of my videos when I said, pastors are not essential. They're an option and we need to take the money back and start helping ourselves. She said, it's not our job to help the community. It is our job to save souls. That's what we're here to do. So then I comment, I say, hey, everybody, here is a Reverend Bishop Lady Pastor saying that we don't have to give to them. Since they're not called to help the community, we don't have to pour money into them. We can help ourselves. They're just here to save our souls. So back then, the Black pastors was like, hey, we want to get the Black people in a better position. We want them to be able to vote. They should be able to go where they want. What is the goal? What are pastors doing now? And several of them have said, our goal is for your soul. Our goal is for your soul. Then what the hell are we giving you our money for that you spend 40, 50 hours a week with some man or woman, a job telling you, how to make your money. And then you get to church on Sunday and you have a pastor telling you what to do with that money. So you going next, D?
And lastly,
Okay.
I'm sorry. No, lastly, I'll say this to a point that you made. You said about the lady, about not being essential. Especially in today, the last thing a pastor wants you to do is better yourself. Because a lot of them know, about 80% of them know that if you better yourself, then that means that's a threat to their bottom line.
Yeah.
That's a threat to their influence on your life.
Yeah.
So once I saw that I was bettering myself and it was threatening the pastors that I was serving, I knew then it was time to get out. So I apologize for stepping in, but
no,
I had to
you don't have to apologize, Raymond. You're good.
So I was just going to piggyback, and I understand. I believe this is why MLK felt this way in regards to the church and how he led the people towards the church. Now, back in the day, as they said, the church was quote unquote the cornerstone, right, of society of Black people as a culture. But here's the thing: things have evolved since then. Things have changed drastically. And see, if we really keep the times separate, for them in that time, church was refuge. Church was protection. That's what it was. Now, but it can still be considered that. But see, nowadays, you sacrifice your freedom to quote unquote feel protected and feel that you have refuge. When what's really happening, underlining, the church is literally just taking from our community. They're taking from our individuals. They're not going to empower them. They're going to keep them in that building to keep them bringing their money, to keep them bringing their energy so those pastors can siphon everything from them so they can ride around and do nothing and eat cigars and go on sabbaticals and drink and run women. Oh my God, yes, it's happening today in these times. So no, church is not the refuge. It's not the place of protection anymore. It is a vulnerable, sinister institution that's designed to control and manipulate people. Period.
And it's political too.
Yeah, very political.
Kush, what you got? What you got, Kush?
We talked about how the overall majority of slaves who came here during the slave trade, or I don't know the TikTok terms for that, but how the majority weren't Christian and followed a variety of different beliefs.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
And all of a sudden we come to a Christian country, and all of a sudden the majority of people of color like us are just happen to be Christian.
Right. You know, when he was talking about the job security of the pastors in the church, pastors told me, it was 4 of them, when I said, I did a video about sometimes your healing is in the grocery line and not in the prayer line. Oh, they told me to shut the hell up. They were in my, my DMs. They wanted to take me to lunch with their wives so they can talk about, what are you saying, sis? I'm saying that sometimes your healing is what you eat and what you put in your body, not in the prayer line, because they want you to have that $30 seed for a $30 breakthrough, and they want you to lift your hands and and then 30 days nothing happens. You didn't give enough. You didn't have enough faith. But it's always the bottom line. It's always the job security. And then someone told me, and I wrote about it in the book, Empty the Pews, Empty Their Pockets. Well, churches need to teach financial literacy. How can they teach something that they don't know? That's why they will go buy land in big buildings that the church cannot afford and put the burden of it on the people to pay for it. Right. And that's why you've been paying on that building. Your mama was paying on that building. Your grandpa and your great was paying on that building, and it's still tumbleweeds. At this point, it's being rezoned, and they're going to put a Walmart there because you didn't wait so long to pay for it. Okay. So it always gets down to the bottom line. Yeah. And Instagram and YouTube, I just want to pull y'all in, but we are on TikTok in case you want to see the full panel. It's the same name as the channel that you are on. Welcome.
Yeah. So, I mean, as those of us that have stepped away from that political controlling atmosphere of religion, and I say religion, not loosely, but religion to cover every single religion, and just start to invest, time within ourselves, financially, spiritually, humbly, and invest those things within ourselves. It's easy for us to walk away and stay away from those things. And then when people come to us and looking for an answer, we can be their refuge. We can be their protection, because walking out, just as Raymond has expressed, walking away from that, that's a decision that you make, but then you also got to consider there are people that don't want you to leave. And they're going to react, and not in a nice way. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's weird. You could be working on a job for 30 years and you get another job opportunity, you leave. There are people that are happy for you to, hey man, go try something new. I'm excited about your opportunity. Move on, man, do something bigger. But the moment you try to leave that church,
you got a reprobate mind. You have a reprobate mind.
You have been turned over to Satan. You are now his child. Like, get the hell out of here, man. What are you talking about? I just want to do something different. I want to try something new. How about I start investing every single Sunday in myself versus in this building? Right. Well, even if it just starts with my time. Come on. I'd rather get up on a Sunday morning and go take a walk. My God. And go hiking and just be one with nature, hug a tree, ground my feet to the earth. And just stare at the sun, open up my third eye. Like, instead of going and sitting inside of a box, listen to a man have cardiovascular arrest
and becoming over fat. Becoming over fat because we just sit for 3-4 hours in church, and then you go sit and eat unhealthy food. Then you go home and you sleep because you're in a food coma. Then if you have to come back for 3 o'clock service, then you sit again. And then you go sit on a job for 40 hours if you have a sitting job. And that's why the church folk are the broke folk and the church folk are the most unhealthy. Yeah. What y'all got on the panel? Kush, is that you? I do too. Me too, Julia.
Good people touched on a really good point. And it's essentially how cults are structured similar to religion. I mean, it's a sort of concept like anyone who doesn't agree with us or what we believe in is bad. And the immediate goal is to demonize anything that does not align with whatever you already believe in. Period. So they cults do the exact same thing. Yeah. Like there are people who will cut off their own family members who are in cults. And same thing with religion. Like there's people who will not even talk to someone in their own family just because they don't hold the same belief system. And I think that's insane,
That's right. And
I experienced that as of today. My parents, my siblings don't talk to me because I don't go to church anymore.
Told him that he needed a psych eval.
Told me I was psychologically deranged.
Said it. And so we can't talk too much about it, but we're going to come with the full story once the court case is over. But told him that he needs a psych eval because he doesn't believe in God anymore. And because he doesn't go to church, and he's not fit to be a father.
Crazy work. My own family, flesh and blood, mom, dad, siblings.
What you say,
the whole
Esquire?
time.
What you say, Esquire?
Yeah, like when my eyes were open, I was upset. I was literally upset.
Yeah.
Because do
Yeah.
you know how many Bears games I missed on Sunday because I was in some raggedy tail church?
Yes.
Man, I love
That's
my
quite
football.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I miss birthday
know,
parties
good.
too. I miss birthday parties, having lead worship. I have a video, and LaShawn, you know, I have a video where Farrah, my baby girl, I'm leaning down to her saying, Mommy's gotta go. I gotta go play at the church because they wanted to start a Saturday night service, and I had to leave a birthday party. So a lot of us have missed family events, money, time, all the things. And that's why we're here now to reconstruct, because it's one thing to deconstruct. Oh, we're deconstructing, great. But then we have to reconstruct our life too. And we have to reprogram. And here's what's happening, and anybody can jump in. You've left the church, but you're still struggling financially. You're still struggling in your health because you've left the church, but the church is still in you.
Mhm.
So if you have spent time in decades with your hands lifted and your hands open, this is receiving mode. I'm nothing without you, God. I'm a worm before you, oh God. And all the things that you say, I can't do it without you. That's
Mhm.
still ingrained in you.
That's the
And then you
program.
go out and you try to go after things that are bigger and better. Then that's still in your core. So that's what we're here to do, is life after church, to reconstruct, to heal, thrive, and recover. Yeah.
And she has said,
That's honestly an excellent point.
Mhm.
Yeah, because there's so many religious people I talk to who have this sort of complex, like, without God, I'm nothing. And for many people, their takeaway from religion is just like, if I don't believe in this thing, then I'm just worthless. And it's like, I don't believe in any of that.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, how have you allowed yourself to be convinced that you aren't, or you can't be a good person, or at least make improvements in your life without this thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Fear.
yeah, 100%. Like, host, excellent point.
Rooted in fear.
Oh, yeah.
Is that
I
fear,
mean,
Raymond? Oh,
It got, and I'm just going to share this briefly. It got so bad within me, I had to attempt it to unalive myself behind religion.
3 times.
Yeah, it's not a joke, man. I was really, really mentally programmed. When they talk about religious mental psychosis, I had it. And I had to break, not just make a decision to leave, but I had to address the program.
Come on.
That program it was deeply rooted in me. And it was running in the background the whole time. Even in those moments where I would try to change my behavior or try to change my thought pattern and just use different words to empower myself, I could hear that programming running in the background. You can't do this without God. You ain't nothing without God. And I had to continue to battle that. Like, I'm everything. I've been everything I needed to be from day one.
Come on.
And I'm still everything and more as I've reprogrammed that autopilot that's in the background.
Yeah.
Like, it's a real thing, man. It takes that encouragement, it takes that oomph, it takes that fire to just invest in yourself and break that program. But once that program is broken, then you can start to reprogram. As she said, reprogram something completely different. And that's the program that's going to make you big kings and big queens, okay? Being able to manifest and drop things into your reality out of thin air. That's when you reprogram that mindset. Yeah, man. For sure.
Raymond, you have some?
And that's where I'm at right now, is going from deconstructing to reprogramming. Because I've always, of course, like, there's this thing we do, and y'all probably know, when somebody tells you you're doing good at something, oh, to God be the glory.
What?
He hates that. He hates that. I did that.
Shoot, man.
Raymond, you see, you just started something.
Away from me. I did that.
You started something, Raymond.
Yeah. And so for me, I had to learn to accept, like, no, you put in the work, you put in the time, you put in the practice, you put in all of that. So, take credit, and it just, now I'm starting to reprogram confidence, reprogram, just just mainly confidence, and belief in myself.
Right.
Again, I've been this agnostic theist 1.5 years, 2 years, so it's gonna take about maybe 30-something years of programming to come out of me. But nonetheless, that's where I'm at right now. But it can be a battle trying to get out of that mindset where you're not enough because you've been told your best worth is like filthy rags.
That one.
You know what I
That
mean?
part.
That's the scripture.
And
That
so
part.
getting out of that mindset, it takes a lot of self-work, but the work is worth it.
Yeah,
Come on.
absolutely. Every time you hear that old program, don't try to ignore it. Address it.
Yeah.
Every single negative,
Mhm.
non-growth, diminishing thought that comes to your mind, address it specifically. And let yourself know that's not of me. I do not prescribe to that, and that's the old program.
Right.
That's my poor self talking. I am no longer that person anymore.
I'm a worm, oh
power,
God.
and I move with authority.
Right.
Every single day. Yeah.
Right. Because on Sunday morning, you got it every week. I'm a worm, oh God. And you bowing down and you're screaming and you're crying these things that get inside your very core. And then when you try to go get something, this is what it looks like. Oh, no, it's okay. If you don't have enough for me, that's fine. Oh, I used to be in a place where I wouldn't even ask for ketchup in the drive-through line. I don't want to mess with, I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to. Now it's confidence.
Yeah.
I don't eat ketchup like that anymore, but it's confidence in any area. It's like, you know what? I see this house, or I see this type of relationship, or I see whatever it is that you want to manifest. I can have that.
Yeah.
And like we used to say, God, you're worthy. God, you're amazing. God, you're powerful. God, you're awesome. All that kind of stuff, right? Look at you. I see you, Raymond.
You are also
Switch that.
Tell
I am
yourself,
awesome.
I'm awesome.
I'm worthy.
I'm powerful.
I'm amazing.
Yeah,
Okay?
amazing. I am
You just have the
worthy
voice.
of whatever.
All the voice right now, oh God. And if you don't want to praise him, I'll praise him by my. Well, then do that.
She got the voice for that. She got the intercessor's voice.
Yes. Then praise him by yourself. That's what some of y'all getting paid to do anyway.
Right.
So why you screaming at me because I'm not doing anything? And here's the thing about the God that we were brought up in. Does he really want us tearing up churches, tearing up rows of chairs, and he's sitting on the throne pleased with that? We shouting and screaming and still leaving the building obese. You came in there with an oxygen machine and you left with it. After all that, tearing up the whole church, you still walking out of there with an oxygen bag.
Yeah.
Obesity.
I'm still trying to, well, not still.
Hold on. God knows their heart. Anybody want to trust? Anybody want to? God knows their heart. Anybody?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Get them.
I mean, they should request up and provide their argument.
Well, here's the thing. I don't give Christians or church folk a space here. There are plenty of content creators that do that, but this is our space. I'll talk a little bit in the chat and then drag them or whatever. But somebody can address that. God knows their heart. God knows their heart, but he doesn't know how to fix the missing children part. He doesn't know how to clear out hospitals of cancer, but he knows their heart. You know what? He does know their heart. He knows that it's filled with cooking grease. He knows that their arteries are clogged because they're obese. God knows that their heart needs to be reconstructed. They probably need a new heart, a transplant, because that's what he knows. Go ahead, baby.
Okay. He said God.
Okay,
knows,
Esquire, you next.
God knows their heart.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back to the beginning. There was quote unquote a serpent in the garden that had a heart. God knew that heart as well. So why the hell did he let him sit in the garden? Why did he kick the serpent out?
Right.
We wouldn't even had an issue regardless if it was true or false. Why didn't you kick the serpent out? You knew that damn serpent was in there. You knew that serpent's heart, but you let the serpent stay and then you kick man out.
It was the woman's fault, remember?
That's crazy work. Like Esquire said, he knew he was gonna fuck up.
Yeah.
He put the damn serpent there in the trees to make us fuck up.
What was you about to say, Esquire?
Ditto.
Right. Yeah. God does know their heart.
Get that out of
That
here,
he knows
man.
that you're
You know their
overeating. That's what he knows. He knows that you're overeating. He knows that you're lying, you're gossiping, you're judging people. God knows that you have a judgmental heart, blaming everything on Eve. Raymond, you got something? Everything. It was our fault.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
It was our fault.
my last pastor that I served was a bit obese, him and his wife.
A bit.
And not to, I ain't trying to shame or whatever, you
Okay.
know what I'm saying, but there was no growth.
Right.
Oh, there was some growth.
There was some growth.
Growth.
Okay.
There was no
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you,
You know what
Raymond.
I'm saying? Like there was no like awareness of that. And maybe I'm just I don't want to sound like I'm body shaming or anything.
Oh, no. It's called
Look
fat
at it and
shaming.
make an observation. That's it.
So here's what I do, because you already know a lot of my videos have gone viral. Some of you have found me because I have addressed fat backness and the anointing of the wide back, right? Here's the thing. I don't mess with anybody. I stay in my space and I stay in my lane because people are obese whether you're in the church or you're not. That's a fact. There are people in deconstruction that are obese. I used to be big back. I've already posted the videos. I showed him showed a picture last year of me, big in a muumuu. He just walked away, just looked at the picture. Yeah. So I get it. I used to be big back too in the church because,
me too.
Right. Talking about the Holy Spirit is your comforter. No, food was my comforter. That's where I ran. Okay. I want to eat my donuts and yours. So here's the thing. I'm over here minding my business. And then somebody that is obese in the church comes into the comments and says things like, you going to hell. Okay. And you need a church home. You need to shut up. I'm talking about pastors. You need to shut up. Stuff like that. Right. So to me, if you're going to faith shame me and talk about my spiritual life, I can fat shame you and talk about your physical life because fat is fat. They act like you shouldn't be talking about fat is fat. Your doctor should be telling you you're fat. If you have a visceral subcutaneous fat issue, it's just fat. So if you have the right to ask me, why don't you have a pastor? I can say, why are you obese? Because you're breaking biblical laws. I'm addressing a biblical obesity issue. You shouldn't be addressing me at all because their Bible says to mind their business and lead a quiet life. It tells them to not strive back and forth about scriptures. It tells them to shake the dust off their feet. So if you're going to faith shame me, I can fat shame you because fat is fat. Fat is not a protected class in the state of Texas, like sex, gender, all that's protected. But just because you're obese, well, she got thyroid issues. She got PCOS. Well, you can't be a piece of shit to me just because you have PCOS. Right? Yeah. And then they say things like, well, they have a thyroid, they have hormones. Well, then take that to God and touch the hem of his garment. You shouldn't be in my comment section judging me when the healer lives inside of you. Why do you have those ailments? Why, when the healer, you go to his house every week, but you're over here judging me? You have other things that you need to focus on. I don't ever go to anybody else's page doing that. That's all I'm saying is if you can address me spiritually, I can address you physically. Then if you don't like it, then leave me alone. Go ahead.
And I mentioned that. I'm sorry. I mentioned that because he and his wife were, very critical of me, very critical of my work. Now use me whenever they needed,
of course,
whenever they needed something or when they needed music or whatever, but was still shame me in a way where they made me feel like I wasn't worthy of elevation or worthy of respect at some point. And so that's why I brought that up because it's like they were shaming me about something, but I could have.
We don't believe in God over here.
Easily got them.
Go ahead.
They were, but I chose not to just because, because of, I ain't want to start that fight. But to your point, I'm gonna start using that now.
Yeah, because it's against the biblical principles that they say that they believe in. That's what it's all about, right? And somebody says you guys just lost me. God still gets all the glory. Well, then Sherry, you're on the wrong page. This deconstruction, we don't believe in that. God gets the glory for what? Church people being fat. God don't get no glory out of that. Let me tell you why. Because they'll say, we need to be in the community. How can you be in the community when you can halfway walk and halfway breathe? God does not get the glory when he tells you, Christians, that your body is the temple of God. But yet you put anything and everything in it, but God is just supposed to accept that. So you can eat whatever you want, treat your body like crap, and still feel like you have the right to come and judge somebody that you don't even know. You can't even race me, pastors, and win. You can't even chase after your family member if a dog is chasing them. So if I lost you, that's fine. It's deconstruction anyway. God doesn't get the glory when you can't even get in the community and help them. People are sending me videos of pastors sitting in a chair behind a pulpit. How does God get the glory out of that? How does God get the glory when you live with sickness and disease, but Jesus Christ, the healer, is living inside of you? He died for your sins. If I was Jesus, I'd be pissed at every last one of you that's walking in sickness and disease. Let me tell you why. Because he took stripes for you. And how is it that I don't go to church anymore and I healed myself of 4 ailments? I don't take high blood pressure pills anymore.
Touche.
Right. I don't take allergy pills.
Touche.
Right. My fibroids have decreased.
Touche.
Right. And IBS, because that's tied to fear. I don't go to church. Well, you said you lost us. That's what you said. So I'm just going by what you said. You know, I agree, but you said you guys just lost me. God still gets all the glory. No, he doesn't. Let me tell you why. I get the glory because I was the one, and he knows I would go to the gym at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night to get it in because my back was wide, deep and wide. Okay. I would go late at night. I did that. They don't give memberships to invisible spirits at Crunch Fitness or Planet Fitness. I did the work. God don't get no glory out of that. That's just the truth.
Well,
If
Go ahead,
God,
Then you go next.
okay, here's the thing. Now, you want to give God all the glory, but your ass is over here.
That's what I'm saying. It's deconstruction.
See, my thing is, if it was such a God, he would have told your ass, don't go over there because those are heathens. Those are unbelievers.
Yeah, she said she agrees.
Drag your ass the moment you make a comment.
I mean, she says she agrees, but when you say you guys just lost me, and then you have these icons, I don't know what we lost you in.
Yeah,
Because, you know, when church folk come over here and start judging, and then I put the mirror up to you and say, why are you sick? It's not even about just being fat. Why are you sick? And then somebody said, well, it's the human experience. Everybody gets sick. That's a belief system.
Really?
That's not true. Because if I could heal myself and speak to myself and heal myself, that's a reality that people choose. Why is it that Jesus spoke to the fig tree, then the next day it was different?
Up and down.
Why aren't you speaking to it? It just does not line up, y'all.
No,
It doesn't line up that Christians are sick, broke, obese, and unhealed, mean, nasty, but they have the love of Jesus Christ.
Well, you know, they're just imitating and they're mirroring the person that they believe in.
Read.
God has temper tantrums all throughout the Bible, and no one talks about it. He flips over tables, he curses trees,
Right.
He attacks people that's doing
Right.
what they want to do in their own space. That's the kind of God. He just goes and kills a whole village of people
Right.
because they want to do what they want to do. Like, that's a crazy type of God. All right.
Right.
And just real quick to piggyback on the weight situation, in my fat back days, I went to the doctor because I was having knee pain. The doctor said, well, Mr. Ware, you having knee pain because you fat and you need to lose weight. My response wasn't, doctor, you're fat shaming me. No, it was get your ass in the gym and lose some weight.
Right.
It was simple.
Right.
But when we say it to somebody else, we're fat shaming them. No, we're making an observation, and you're talking about your sickness and your health, and God's going to do it. He hasn't done it yet. Get your ass to the gym and do it yourself.
Esquire, I think you were going to go. And then, Raymond, let me tell you this. The reason why I bring it up is because you're not talking about y'all. You're a Christian, and your Bible says that you're not supposed to be obese. So when you come over here and address me, I'm just going to put the Bible in your face, and y'all get mad. They get mad when I'm putting the scriptures in front of you. Esquire, were you about to say something?
2 things.
What?
One about the sickness.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a sniffle.
Say that.
Anything since 2004.
Right.
Second thing, let's be frank or honest, because I'm tired of this crap about these Christians. Y'all ass Christians, because you're afraid of the freaking consequences, think your ass going to hell.
That's true.
Bruh.
That's the reason why you Christian. Ain't got nothing to do with you loving God or loving Jesus or praising, worship, and shouting and all this crap. Your punk ass is a Christian because you scared to go to hell. Well, let me let you in on something. There is no hell.
No.
Hold a match, strike a match, light it, and hold it in the air. What is it gonna burn? It's not a damn thing. Fire only burns what's physical.
Yeah.
Dumbass.
You sound church hurt, Esquire.
Esquire, you fool.
Raymond.
I love it though.
Tourette's.
Raymond, were you about to go?
Oh, he dropped the mic.
That's the mic drop. I'm going to drop right there. I'm going to do the mic drop for Esquire.
Right.
It was great meeting the both of you.
Okay.
Thank you all for allowing me to come up and speak.
Yeah.
Please continue doing the work that you are doing as a husband-wife team. We need it. So thank y'all.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all so much. Yeah, we're going to wrap up soon. And just so that y'all know, this is a deep. Okay, child, I beat him. Shut the whole live down. Okay. Maybe if you just get out of the app or something like that.
Yeah, just exit.
Okay,
out.
I found it. Disconnect. Boom, shakalaka. Listen, this is a deconstruction community. That means I don't promote God. I don't say yes and amen to scriptures or yes and amen to God. Y'all just have to accept that. I'm not lukewarm about what I do, because when I was in the church, I was in it. I was in it. And some of y'all are over here as Christians and you're like, yeah, but God still, but I still read. Keep that to yourself, because if you bring it up and you mention it, I'm going to deal with it, because this is our space to heal, thrive, and recover. Okay. We don't want it. Many of us, it's like some of y'all are throwing out bath water, but you want to keep the baby. We've thrown away the water, the baby, the bathtub, the pipes, and everything attached to it. And that's our choice. That's where we find peace. That's where we are good. And here's the thing, like, it just feels so good to be free.
Yeah.
It just feels so good to be free. We are happy. How are they like, you just hurt, you just angry? I get up every single day because I created this reality for myself after leaving the church. I do whatever I want.
But here's the thing, though.
Get up and do whatever I want.
Slide this in there real quick.
Okay.
You know what? I was angry. I was mad. I was hurt when I was going to church.
Come on.
When I left the church, I found some peace.
Oh, my mama.
I found happiness. I found freedom. Hell, I found myself.
Sorry, y'all. I had to charge my
And that's really what has given me so much excitement about not being a part of any type of religious programming. Okay. It's like it's really true freedom, because now you can make your own rules. You can do whatever you want to do when you want to do it. Because contrary to what it may seem or look like to some of y'all, we don't bother nobody.
No, we don't.
We don't bother nobody. We don't go into nobody's space telling them what they should or should not believe. That's up for you to make that decision. But we're here for those that are looking for that freedom. We're looking for that outlet, looking for someone to support their deconstruction journey and to reconstruct their future. That's all we're here for to do.
Right.
And we just want to create a safe space for anybody that needs and find themselves in a position where they're straddling the fence.
Right.
And I straddled the fence for a while because I was unsure. That fear was instilled in me as well. But then, I had my loving partner right here, my loving wife, to just kind of put foot to ball and tell me to get over the damn fence and go ahead and make a decision. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
it may seem. Go ahead, Esquire.
I was just laughing, but check this out. Years ago, I found this out. This is gonna blow your mind. You have the pastor. The son is a pastor. The daughter is a pastor. The mom is a pastor. The grandchildren are pastor. Do you know why? Do you know if a war ever break out, they are totally 100% exempt from draft?
Wow.
Okay, I thought you were about to ask them.
Wow. So they exempt them because they're pretending
by
to
the
be
government.
essential.
Pretend to be
protected. Oh, that's crazy.
And then they weren't even essential because liquor stores were open during COVID. Yeah, that's a whole other story.
Man, that's news to me. That's wow.
Yeah.
That's wow. I would put them niggas on the front line and tell them to pray. Pray
Trust
your God.
Trust God.
Trust God. Shoot, all of them be laying down. God ain't coming out there. God is at one of the fights, helping them win the fights down there in Vegas. That's what God is.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You can get all your money back. You can get all your time back after leaving the church. And that's what we are here to do. And that's why I do not care what people say or think about me, because I know when I left the church, I'm glad I found out what your channel is about, and it's not for me. Thank you, Sherry. And I'm thanking you. Let me just finish this. Thank you for bowing out gracefully. And now that you know what my page is about, you can unfollow, because that's what it is, period. I don't ever tell anybody don't believe in God, get out those churches. Yes. Am I doing a church boycott? Am I talking about empty the pews, empty their pockets? Yes, I am. But you're never going to see me walk into a church with, empty the pews, empty their pockets, empty the pew. I'm not going to do that. What I'm doing is creating a space for those that are waking up. That's who my audience is. Those that are waking up. That's it. And you wasting your time. Our people, they ain't gonna never wake up. Yes, our people, some of them will die in their spiritual sleep, just like our family members have died in their physical sleep. Some of our aunties and grandpa, it's done for them. They went to sleep, hey, Darla, in their spiritual sleep, and that's it. It's over. But I know that my voice is reaching the people that are waking up. I just know that. And that's who I'm called to. And when I left the church and started investing in myself, my health, I'm not giving God no glory for that. I'm just not. And here's the thing. If my child, he's autistic, every time he does something, he has to come in and say, Mom, I just want to give you glory right now for giving birth to me. I just want to give you glory right. And that's what y'all do in those churches still. We give you glory right now, oh God. We thank you for life, health, and strength. And even though half of them don't even have that, they can barely breathe as it is. They don't have life, health, and strength. We just want to thank you, oh God, right now. I just want to give you glory right. It's not going to work because it's still the same situation. Go to a Black church, and I can only talk about the Black experience. Go to a Black church, sit out there when you think the benediction is going to happen, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. It's people walking slow because they're obese and they're not healthy. How is that helping our community? How is that helping the world? Making disciples of what?
Fat people.
And you can say whatever you want. I used to be big, and I know that it's not profitable for us as Black people or just anybody. You ain't got to be Black. And so here's what happened. When I left the church, I became a full-time entrepreneur pursuing my purpose and created a life for myself that I did not have in the church. I wake up every single day and I do whatever I want, how I want to do it, when I want to do it, for how long I want to do it, because I learned how to monetize my gifts and I learned how to be the best version of myself and then help other people. And the church has nothing to do with that. And I'm not going to get on my knees. And this is going to blow your mind. I don't even pray over my food. I'm going to lose half of y'all right there. Why? Some of y'all pray over your food and it's full of fried this, fried. The plate is even fried. And I just want to thank you right now, God. I get it.
Plate.
I get it that some people have to eat what they have to eat because they're on a journey. Even people in deconstruction, you're still working on your finances. You're still because of what a lot of you are still broke and have money issues, sickness, like I did the first few years when I got out because the church was still in me. All that broke mindset was in me. The church cultivates poverty mindset. Okay. And so until you renew your mind, this is the page I'm talking about. And I assist people on how to do that. You're going to still have a church life, even though you're not in the church. And so and Darla knows, Darla is on this page. I worked with her when she first came onto my page. She was in a place, worked with her about changing her mindset as she came out of the church. And I don't got to worry about debt. I don't have to worry about sickness. I don't have to do any of those things that I was doing in the church. So I don't care what people say about me. I don't care what they think about me. I know how I transformed my life when I came out of the church. And I'm happy, peaceful. And this is what she says, Dorian, I went from 248 to 122 when I left the organized church. That's all I'm saying. Okay. And if they don't want to be judged about being fat, stay out of people's lives, not you, stay out of people's lives. And I'm talking about real life and out of their lives on TikTok. Stay off their page and go work on yourself. You got anything before we leave?
You said it all, baby.
Don't play with these people.
But yeah, definitely don't be playing when it comes to these church folks because they're in a cycle of misfortune.
Right.
And they actually have created their misfortune. When I was coming out of church, I used to hear all the time, it is what it is. Hell, it ain't is what it is.
And I hate it when he
what
said
I
that.
created to be. I had to learn, I had to reprogram that saying. I used to say it all the time. And I didn't realize that I was stuck in a cycle of misfortune. Like, I can recreate and reprogram whatever I decide to do. That it's not a burden, but that responsibility leans on me and not what anybody else has to say about it. Yeah.
Here's the issue. And Sherry, I'm just going to say what you're saying. You said, I agree with you with the way issues in the church and tithing issues. You still love me. I still love you too. Here's the issue. Every time I bring up something, it's like the church is that there's always a but. I agree with this. I agree, but y'all are going to stay stuck. Sherry, what I'm saying is true. And one day you may wake up to it fully and completely. and maybe you won't, but that's what's going to keep us stuck, especially Black people. The butts. The big butt. It's just too many butts. I agree, but it's like y'all, and I get it, because that programming, that conditioning, that indoctrination, it has a chokehold on people, and they're afraid to let it all go. Esquire, I feel like you have a word, right?
They're afraid to go to hell.
They're afraid to go to hell.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Because
all it is.
What else are you holding on to? I agree. This is what people will tell me. I agree that pastor's this. I agree with the weight issues. I agree with the tithing issues. I agree. Okay, then what's the problem? So what are we missing here?
They're afraid to make a choice. Just afraid.
Right.
Just afraid.
And let me tell you something. I love it though. I still love you too, Sherry. I feel you. But it comes to a point where you cannot be lukewarm. And here's what's amazing though. Christians, y'all stay on my page. Church folk, you stay on my page. And that's fine. But that's because there's something inside that resonates with you. But then when you get away from it, that old program starts to pull you back.
In. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
Right. And here's the thing with the weight issues. Whether you Christian or not, what I'm saying is true. If anybody loves you, they should be telling you that.
Mm-hmm.
They should be telling you that. And here's what people have a problem with when it comes to me.
Showing you.
They should be showing you and telling you, is because y'all are so used to hearing lies every week from your pastor. When somebody comes with the truth and just comes straight for it, y'all start to get offended. That's faith shaming. Yet y'all came to me and attacked me first. You know what I'm saying? I'm only responding. So whether you are Christian or not, somebody should be telling you, baby, that's not healthy for you to be that size. Let me tell you why. You don't have to be a size 2. You don't have to be a size 1. But if somebody was chasing your family member, could you, could you go and help them? If a dog was chasing your loved one, could you do it? And don't say age, because me and him, we go walking, we see 80-year-olds pass us up. They pass. 80 years old. And so we still working on it. And I'm here to tell you that if you are I'm just saying, if you are a Christian, and I'm feeling this, this is passionate for me. If you are a believer, you need to question, why do I go to church every week and I leave that building? I'm praying to God. I have this Bible and I'm still fighting these issues. But yet the people that's out of the church, they're not. That's why people be so mad at us, because we're free. We're happy because we chose not to look outside of ourselves, wait on God to do it for me. And it don't get done. It does not get done. And so I would be questioning, why am I putting all this time, money, effort, and issue and my resources into this place, this pastor, this belief, and I'm still not living the life that I see other people living? But you have the healer. You have the God that owns the cattle of 1,000 hills, gold streets. There's pearly gates up there. You're going to get a robe, you get crowns, and you broke down here. I don't think so. You can miss me with that.
Hey, you can miss me with all that.
I'm not, no. Because it's not real. That's what it really comes down to.
It's not real. God don't hear no prayers.
True.
He don't do nothing for you.
That's true.
Just conceptualize it. Listen, everything that you've ever accomplished in your life,
get these, Sherry,
is simply because you did something.
Yes.
Your first job, you got your behind up, you went and filled out an application, you showed up to the interview, you performed well, they hired you. When you were young, you were born, you were trying to teach yourself how to walk, you got up, you fell down 100 different times, you got up and you kept doing it and you finally perfected it. When you wanted to change your outlook on your job, when you wanted to do something different, get yourself a promotion, buy a new car, you wanted to go out to a different restaurant, all of these little simple things that we've done in our lives have been created, have been planned, have been orchestrated by you, not some invisible being. If you want to test that theory, sit on your ass tomorrow and say, God, feed me. Now, if a plate come floating in your room, you might want to jump out of the window.
Right.
All right, but it's not going to happen. You are the gods and goddesses that orchestrate your life, and everything that you have accomplished up until this point is because you did it. Don't give some invisible character your glory. Glorify yourself. I did this. I accomplished this. And then think, if I could do this, I wonder what else can I create? What else can I do?
Exactly.
What else can be? What else can I bring into my life? Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Right.
When God in the Bible in Exodus, when he said, I am, he's talking about you. When you say I am, you say I am silly.
Sherry, that's it.
You're God.
Yeah.
You just called yourself silly.
Right.
Anything you say after I am, that I am is God. That's you. Anything after that, that's what you command.
Right.
That's God. I'm sorry. I'm snapping.
You're good. You're good.
Dude. Jesus Christ. I'm about to go.
Right. We all about to go, but we're all about to go. But I'm
But that's
telling
it,
y'all.
though. Esquire, you hit it on the nail. Everything after I am is what you declare for yourself to be. So if you say I am healed, I am wealthy, and then if you want to take it even to a higher chakra, say I understand wealth. I understand how to bring wealth into my life. I understand how to have healing into my bones. I understand how to continue to be wealthy, how to be a good stewardship of our money. You claim it, you declare it, and you do all the different things that we've been doing since we were created as black goddesses and gods. They stole our shit and put it into a book, and then put this white guy on there and said, "This is your God." That's bullshit.
Right.
We all know it's bullshit.
Right.
You are dang.
See, he got a cussing
You are
spirit, y'all.
God.
Y'all stretch your hands for him. He got a cussing spirit.
I'm sorry, y'all. I do have a cussing spirit, and I'm not really sorry.
Right. So if I say I'm a witch, let me tell you something. And like Sherry said it, I don't care if you believe in God or not. When you come on my page and you see my videos, I'm never saying some people will say, get out of those churches. I don't care about all that. I'm talking about you. Because if God is real, if he's sitting in heaven and he is real, you still have to do the work. You still have to work on your credit yourself. You still have to work out. You still have to do it, and you can. And here's the thing. There are people that have healed themselves from the same sickness and disease that you have. But what happens, like you're saying, Sherry, is people are still waiting on God. They're still waiting on God, and they're believing by the scriptures when you need to speak to your body. That's the problem. You need to speak to your body. I'm going to tell you right now, just because we're here on the live and is my live and say that, put the book down. Because Jesus did not walk around with a Bible. He looked at the fig tree and he spoke to it. God didn't have a Bible in his hand, even though they say he's the word. Okay, use the word. Speak to your body. He looked at something. He didn't like what he saw. And he said, let there be light. He saw that it was dull. It was void. It was dark. If that's what you believe, that's all I'm saying is Christians are so busy in my comments trying to tell me. Sherry is over here on Instagram. My sis over here. We was beefing a few minutes ago, but now we back friends because she knows what my page is about. It's deconstruction. And we don't give God all the blah, blah, blah. So anyways, we best friends now. So all I'm saying is you got to put the book down because the scriptures have been here for 40, 50 years. And some of y'all are 40 and 50 still dealing with the gout, still dealing with brokenness and talking about, what the president is doing. You have lived under 4 or 5 presidents and you've been broke in debt under every last one of them. It's not the president. It is your mindset. It is your mouth. Up here. Okay. It is you speaking words that are creating your reality for you. So I'm saying, put the book down and have a relationship with your body. Okay. You know what? I ate that. That didn't sit right with me. So I probably need to stop eating that, but we keep eating it. And then we get in the prayer line and we have, where my money at? I have some money up here. And then we get up there with our seed and Pastor, pray for me. No. Do the work. You still have to do the work. And if God is real and he loves you, he should be sitting there, okay, high-fiving and cheering you on. Why? Why do we have to sit there and we got to wait to give God the glory, or we have to, I got to tell the story, then I'm going to let you go. This Christian that I used to go to church with, she was obese and she went to the doctor and the doctor said, you have what is it? Diabetes. She gets onto the diabetes. She gets on here. Dr. Zuberi, can you come on TikTok? You can see Deon in the whole panel. If not, he's sitting right here. And she gets on here and she says, my doctor with an attitude, my doctor told me I got obesity, but I told him the next time he sees me, he gonna give me a different diagnosis. First of all, why? You act like the doctor gave you diabetes. So here's what she did. She started to what is the word when you chronicalize? you journalize your journey on Facebook. And she was in the gym all the time, just in the gym, eating right. She went back to doctor, and indeed, he gave her a different diagnosis. But he's not going to write on there, God did it. He's going to say, patient changed diet, and now I'm changing the diagnosis.
Yeah.
So why are we giving God the glory? She got in there. Well, God gave you the strength.
Get out of here. You ate right. That's
You
what
started
gave
to
you the
eat
strength.
right. You decided. That's why when people say, are you a atheist? No, I'm a decider. I get up every day and I decide what is the best thing for me. And I was saying this, Sherry, get the 31-day eating habits, and it'll change your mindset, and it'll change your weight. I'm telling you, I used to be big. Me and my sisters, my sister on here, she knows how I am when it came to sugar. At breakfast, I'm thinking about what I'm gonna eat for lunch. At lunch, I'm thinking about what I'm gonna eat for dinner. And then I'm mad because I had snacks and I forgot to eat those. So now I got to go back and I got to eat those. And so, or, or my spirit ain't right, or I'm in sin. I got to go do it. She's on there. And she didn't even know, like, I had an addiction to sugar. And I decided I don't want to look like this in my clothes no more. I don't want to be on this. I just decided. Okay. And so all I'm saying, then she went back to the doctor, and the doctor, here's the thing. This is what she told the doctor. I forgot this part. She said, I told the doctor, you're going to give me a different diagnosis because my God is a God that heals. If I was her, the doctor, I would have said, well, why he didn't keep you from being in this office? Don't come in here with that attitude. I didn't give you diabetes. It was your diet. And I went to church with her, so I know how she ate. We would have those dinners after service. So all I'm saying to you, you want to believe in God? Fine. You want to go to church? I don't care. Because that's what happens when you get out of church. You don't try to control people because you're no longer being controlled. The reason why church folk get in my comments with that mess is because they're being controlled by the book, being controlled by a pastor, being controlled by religion. So therefore, they're going to try to control me. That's why you never see me in my videos telling people what to do or in their comments. I only drag them when they come for me. You know what I'm saying? I do what I got to do. All I'm saying to you is you still have to do the work. I didn't get these muscles. God didn't give me these muscles. That's me in that gym, lifting up them 40, 50, 80 pounds. Yeah. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So I love y'all. I really do. You're trying to come through on TikTok, but you haven't. Okay, that's fine. What is the name of the book? It's called Empty the Pews, Empty Their Pockets. If you take your money out of the church, here's the thing. A lot of child, see, I'm like a pastor. I didn't close 40 times. This is 31-day intentions. It's a booklet form of cards. The reason why church folk are obese, unhealthy, don't have money, I'm talking about church folk that go to church, is because they gave all their health money on Sunday. They gave the money that they could have used for a personal trainer. They gave the money that they could have bought healthy food to the church. Right, take your time, right? Mm-hmm. That's why. And so they give their money, they give until it hurts, and you're hurting. Yeah. You're hurting financially. You're hurting when it comes to your weight. You're hurting in your marriages because you don't spend time with your spouse because you're too busy in the pews. This is why empty your pews is not just about money. This is why relationships are like that. Husband at home, wife walking out the door. Oh, the devil just trying to steal my marriage. No, the devil just walked out with some high heels, a big old hat, and a purse, and just sat in those pews. This is why, because the money that you could be using, does God need your money? How's that going to translate? Well, God wants you to give. How are you going to get the money? Is it going to translate and convert to some kind of ethereal currency? You're being lied to, okay? If God is who he is, your loving father, you don't have to sit in a building to be in a relationship with your father. If you want to go, go. But here's the thing. Here's how to test it, church folk. If you're still in debt, be honest with yourself. If you're still in debt, you have no business giving to a church. None. Because I'm telling you what's about to hit the world. Y'all see it, but I have, because of my platform, and it's reaching different places. He's heard the conversations. People have called me and told me insider stuff about what's about to hit the world. You don't have a savings. You don't have extra food. You don't have what you need to survive what's about to hit the world. This is not about fear. It's just the reality, because you're giving to the church, who's not doing anything with your money, but sending it to the pastor's pockets. First lady, if she on staff, she got on a new outfit every week. You wearing the same purse. You have the same brown purse that you probably got from she and her team, and you making payments on it. You wear the same brown purse with every outfit. She has a purse that matches her shoes, her hat, her whole outfit. And y'all sitting there accepting this shit. I'm just saying. And then you have the nerve to get on here and talking about, we're going to boycott Asian businesses. Where's that energy Sunday morning? To say, hey, pastor, what did we do for the community this week?
Hello.
Oh, well, sister, I did that. What did we do this week with the money that we gave? Because we give weekly, so we should see something weekly being done in the church.
True that.
And then people come, well, my church gives. Well, every church is not like that. I don't care about every other church. I'm talking to the ones I'm talking to. What sense does it make for me to talk to churches that are doing what they're supposed to do? Good. So when it all hits the fan, you should still be standing. But what we do is we wait to the end of the year for some made up paperwork to say what the church gave. I'm telling you, I was married to a pastor. I've been on staff at big white churches. I've been on staff at black churches, meaning full time. There's 2 business meetings. There's the one where the money really going, and then there's the one that they present to y'all to say what's really going on. Then people want to come at me and say, well, my pastor don't take a salary. Let me tell you, on my live today, a pastor said, I don't get a salary 9 years. I called him out on it and he didn't say nothing. I said, okay, pastor. And I wrote about it in the book, Empty the Pews, Empty Their Pockets. I said, you don't get a salary, but they pay your mortgage. They pay your car note. They pay your insurance. Why do you need a salary? And I told him, I typed it and I can pull it up and show you, because when you have a live, it'll show you the comments. I said, great, pastor, you don't get a salary. That's because all your living expenses are being paid. Correct? I ain't hear nothing.
Ghost.
Bye.
Like that little.
So they
little
pay,
gift.
they pay all your living expenses, but then they give you a little love offering. We just want to give a little love offering. I wouldn't need a salary either.
No.
If you're paying not just his car insurance and his car note, but the pastor's car note, the pastor's wife's insurance, her car note. And don't forget little baby girl's dance lessons. And yes, I'm shooting. That's a shot fired to the last church I went to. She wasn't working. So who's paying for them dance lessons? My baby, Farrah, y'all know my sister on here, LaShawn. My baby was 4 or 5. I wanted her in dance lessons. Okay. So all I'm saying to you is we need to wake up. You want to have God, fine. But if you can't fund a family, if you can't pull out your, I love you too, Sherry. I know you meant no harm. Hugs and kisses, virtual hugs. It's all good. If you can't pull out your debit card, not a credit card where you pay it later, your debit card today, I'm talking about church folk that come over here, cannot even pay a Zelle, but quick to send somebody to hell. Pull out your debit card and fund a family for a day. All their gas monies that they need, that's struggling, all the kids' lunch money, they can't even do that, but they can see that I'm going to the fiery pits of hell. You can't even help a family, but your God is rich and wealthy and supplies all your needs. Who was on my live when that pastor's daughter came on there and she was like, my mama a pastor. I said, okay, great. And she was talking her little noise. And then I said, I have somebody on here that needs help. And she said, okay. I said, how much can you give to her to help her? All I can give is food. And what did you say? Let me tell you what he said. He said, when your pastor asks for the tithe money, do you say all I can give is food? No, you're going to pull out your wallet.
And you're going to give some money.
And you're going to give till it hurts.
Get out of here.
Food banks give food. So all I'm saying, I'm not judging anybody that is in a financial place. I'm talking to church folk who are supposed to be in a better place financially with their health, their wealth, because how can you help the community if you're struggling yourself? You're not supposed to be broke, because he said, give and it shall be given unto you. Your tithe is supposed to open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing. And if that's not happening, that's why we need to wake up.
Every time I open up a window, I got another bill. And I would have had money to pay for it had I not given it all to the
I love you, Sherry.
ministerial staff. I didn't get a check like she did. I didn't get jack.
Yes, I have my
6
own
different hats,
office.
and I never got a honorary offering or a love offering. Only time I would get blessed by another church is when I went to go preach at another church.
Yeah.
But at home, they ain't get nothing. They took full advantage of all my gifts. They ain't get nothing for it.
Yes.
Now, I will say this. I think this is probably going to be my last nugget I'm going to leave with y'all tonight.
Nothing.
If you don't manifest change for yourself,
Come on.
you will manifest the same thing that you currently have now. So what am I saying?
Yes,
you're going to manifest something
regardless,
or the other.
Yeah.
Either you're going to take control and bring about what you want, or you're going to be forcing yourself to manifest the exact same situation that you're currently in right now.
Right.
So all the stories that you see in the Bible that were stolen from us, you can learn a lot from those stories. Like when Jesus, Yeshua, whoever he is, when he cursed the fig tree, he manifested a curse on the fig tree. And he didn't sit there and wait for it to die. He just spoke and he took off and forgot about it. It works the same way with our manifestation. You know, we claim what we want right then, we put it out there and we move on. If we sit there and try to think about it and worry about it, I know it's coming, it's on the way, it ain't gonna never get there because that's doubt. When you just speak it and move on, before you know it, it's in your hand. When he came back, he was like, oh, and he didn't even pay attention to it. The disciple was like, hold up, say, man, did you just curse this tree? He had already believed it and moved on. It was behind him. They had to see it to understand that, wow, this guy's got power. But that was also to show them you can do the same thing. Right. Because the God is in us, right? So all we got to do is speak what we want, and it's gonna come. Right. It's gonna come. But you have to build that up, because the moment that you doubt, the doubt causes delays. All right. So, well, I can go somewhere else with that. All right.
Well, you know, if y'all don't have any other questions or concerns or thoughts, yes, the book is out. Empty the Pews, Empty Their Pockets. You guys hear my heart is, yes, we've been lied to, and that may be hard for some of you to receive. But if God is the God that you say he is, Esquire, I feel like you have a word before we leave. You know, if God is the God that, you know, you all say and that they have told us he is, think about why your life is the way that it is. If it's not where you want it to be, think about why the world is like it is. We just have to critically think, and it's okay. Yeah. It's okay to say, okay, you know what I was taught was not true, was not right. It wasn't the truth. I'm just gonna put it out there. All right. It wasn't the truth. Now, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And like he was talking about, and I talk about manifestation. That's my whole other platform. That's why they call me a witch. 3 things today. Before we leave, I'm gonna give y'all something to think about. Yes, you do, Sherry. We got this. Today, if there's something, think about an area that you want to really shift and change in your life right now. Just think about it. Weight, relationship, whatever, health. What did you speak about it today? 3 things happened today. Either you said nothing, so nothing is going to shift and change. You spoke bad about it. Man, I don't know if I'm ever going to get rid of this. Man, this debt. Oh, I got another bill. Or you actually spoke life into it and then you embodied it. Yeah. Okay. And so here's the problem when pastors say, sow your seed. You sow your seed and then you wait. They don't tell you that you have to speak. They don't tell you that you have to embody. Let's talk about money. They don't tell you that you can't watch shows that talk about broke people. You can't watch shows where people are in poverty. They don't tell you that because there's a frequency and energy that you're attached to. You're trying to lose weight. They don't tell you that you can't be watching mukbangs. Just believe God. Just trust God. So that's all I'm saying. Okay. That's it. Is you need to empower yourself. You need to empower yourself daily. And it has nothing to do with a book or a God in heaven that you don't know even exists. None of you know what's on the other side. It's a belief. You don't know. It's something you're choosing to believe. And you really should keep that to yourself, church folk. Right. Especially if you are obese, especially if you're waddling yourself over to my comments to judge me. I did the work. Yeah. Okay. It is a choice that you're choosing to believe. That's it. I didn't have guests on here tonight, so I guess I got to pay them an honorary.
Believe. Just believe in yourself, folks.
How much you want, Esquire? I know you spoke tonight, so I got to pay all the guest speakers.
No, I'm straight.
Okay.
One more thing to say.
Go ahead,
my man.
And I'm about to knock everybody socks off.
Hey, Stacy. We're about to leave, y'all.
Okay.
Sherry, we can do that together.
They say Jesus is all in all of this, right?
Right.
I challenge each and every one of y'all to go get the 1611 edition Bible. Jesus isn't in it.
No. You're talking about the Geneva Bible. He's not in there. No. He's not.
Right. Hey.
He's not in there.
If it was real, yeah, it's where's the benediction music when we need it? If it was real,
right, he's not in there. No.
The name Jesus is not in the Bible.
Right. And here's the
Bibles before that.
Yeah.
That name is not in it.
there was no J's.
Suckers.
Stop. We were all conditioned and programmed and indoctrinated. And the reason why we have a hard time with it is because we are spiritual beings. Yeah. So we feel like we have to have, there has to be something out there because you're a spiritual being, but it's in you.
It's in here.
Right.
It's us.
It's us.
We're the spiritual being, yeah.
If it was real, y'all, I know we said we're going to leave, right? But if it was real, where are Peter's descendants? Where are the people that say, ooh, you got Peter's head. You got a head just like Peter. Oh, you that's Matthew's baby. I know that's Matthew. Look at him. Mm-hmm. He walks just like Matthew. Where the body's at? Let's
that's David's baby. He can't keep his clothes on.
That's David's baby right there. Where they at? They dig up everything else. They dig up all the fossils, dinosaur bones. Yes. Where they at, y'all? And I know it's going to take time. Deconstruction is in layers. Yeah. It is. I stopped going to church, but I still held on to the Bible. I still prayed. I still spoke in tongues. What about shit about it? I did all of that. And over time, as I began to study, like the pastor that was in here, the ex-pastor, I went to seminary school and woke up. I came in there ready with my Bible, my book, and we were adults. This was just 2015, 16 that I went. And they said, put those down. You won't need those. And don't go in there telling them that tithing is not required because the Negroes won't give. The pastors were the professors. And they were the ones that told us it wasn't real. I'm not just talking yet. They told us that in seminary. And the ex-pastor that was just here on my live, he said it. Yeah. That he went to seminary and it opened his eyes. It was all put together, guys, to control us. Now
it's a book of stolen stories.
To control.
That's all it is. Like a lot of these stories are factual stories and did happen at some point, but it had shit to do with no Jesus, no God, no Joseph, no Mary. None of them people didn't even exist, and they still don't exist. Right. It's a book full of stories, stolen stories from us, the real gods and goddesses of this world.
Exactly.
Many of us were jumped into our religions at an early age. Now we be ride or die for our religious gang. If blood is the currency of salvation, who is the vampire? And why has this vampire been drinking blood at our hands for hundreds of thousands of years? That's YouTube.
That's crazy work.
Right. And here's the thing. I know, y'all. Trust me. I know. Just stick with me, people. Yeah. Because when you look at church and you see everything that goes on in the Black church, it's stuff that happened in our own spirituality, especially as African-American people. The dancing, we had those tribal dances, but they meant something. Mm-hmm. Now it's just who can pick them up the best, mm-hmm. who has the best shout, who can go real fast. Ooh, look at First Lady. She going. Get it, sister. Who can run the fastest. But those dances did mean something, but it's been tainted. The oils that they would use. Yeah, you get it in the prayer line, they're going to skeet all over you. Oil everywhere. Just so you could be, get a blessing. But those oils were actually powerful and we use them for real, reasons, but it's been tainted. The offerings, it had meaning in our culture, but they changed it. So pastor can get that BMW. Mm-hmm. He got to look like he wealthy. They got to have that boy.
For real?
Yeah.
I'm going to go be a pastor then.
A gang, right. I wrote about this in a book.
Right.
I wrote about a conversation I had with a gang member, and he said, I used to be a gang member. No, a dope dealer.
Dope dealer.
That's what he said. And he said, I decided to be a pastor because it's safer. We're both pumping poison into the community, but at least I'm not getting shot at.
Facts.
Right. So everything you see in the Black church right now, it's all, you know, what we used to do, especially as us, even the offerings, the dances, the music, the gathering together, but it's all been tainted in a way to keep us from really tapping into our spirituality and our power within to speak something, to embody something. And LaShawn is on here. I don't know if my sister is still on here. They've known me for my sister known me for 46 years because I'm 46. But LaShawn's known me for a minute. She sung with me on my live praise and worship album. And she knows that this version of me is not who I used to be. I used to be very quiet. Yes, pastor. How we went from Mazda to pastor. I want to please the pastor. I was quiet. I was a yes man. And so this version of me is totally different. I like this version of myself because I'm empowered. You can't talk to me any kind of way. I know my worth and I know my value. And guess what? I attract the best because I know who I am and I walk in that power. Yes, I was very timid. I didn't talk. I didn't say anything. Even when my cousin's husband, you know, sexually assaulted me by putting his bare, you know, arm on me, his bare peeping on my arm, I said nothing until it finally got out. I said nothing when my ex-husband pastor was DVing me, domestic violence. I said nothing. So that's why when people try to take my voice and tell me to be quiet and tell me, don't waste your energy, you're not going to take my voice. That's my sister right there, Hope Beyond Leukemia. And she's speaking to it. And we've been working in that situation, overcoming the cancer. Cancer can go, everything can go. It's a decision. That's my blood sister. That's my older sister. So welcome. Thank you. You finally made it over here to the YouTube. So that's all I'm saying. The church itself, the institution of church is set up to distract us. I can't speak for other races. I accept them here. They're here. Great. I'm 46, but I was in the church for over 25 years and we were pastors at 21. Who was we supposed to be pastor? We weren't even supposed to be married. How are we going to help you with your marriage? And we had 3 people and it wasn't a Trinity. We had 3 people in our marriage. It wasn't God, Jesus, and Holy Spirit. It was me, him, and her, right? At 21. So I've been in it for a long time and I was in it. You know what I mean? Just in it. I was, sold out for the Lord Jesus Christ. I love you, God. Jesus Christ.
I was pretending.
Yes, he was.
I was there
wearing a mask.
But I was pretending.
Hey.
I wasn't serious about none of that. I was running around getting it. Just sinning all the time. Well,
yes.
I was in that church on Sunday throughout the week.
Our pastor's kids the worst. I wrote a whole chapter about you.
The moment I left that church, I was cranking that joke all the way up. So,
and pastor kids are not the worst because they're kids.
Yeah.
It's a reflection on the pastor. So much love, everybody. We're going to take up an offering for all our guest speakers. And now, as y'all know, if you're a guest speaker on here, you're supposed to be raising your own honorarium. Esquire, you said that that your honorarium to come and speak was $2,000. So you're supposed to raise that and pretend like you're giving $1,000 to start off the offering. So that's how it works. I bet you some of y'all know that. That's how that works. That's what Marvin Sapp was all about. That 40,000 is because he said, I'll come speak, but it's 40,000. And I'm just using an example. They'll say, okay, if you want us to pay you 40,000, you need to raise it yourself. You need to raise your own offering. So then you will get up and say, I'm going to start with the first 20,000, and then he's going to take that back. So he really didn't give. So boom. And I'm telling you, I've seen it done. Yeah. So we good? I know that's a lot to take in, but I do love you. I do. I do love you. And I do stay in my lane. I stay in my place. But for me to be this passionate about this, when Leslie, my sister's on here, LaShawn, they knew I didn't even cuss. I didn't cuss until I came out to church about 12 years ago. No drink, no nothing. I still don't drink because I just don't like it. Sugar was my thing. Like, I was trying not to fornicate. I was in it. I wasn't a Bible thumper, though. I didn't go around judging people, but I was just sold out for the Lord. I was sold out for Jesus. And then for me to be this, where I'll tell a pastor what to do with it, I just woke up, guys, and I found out what it was all about. Hey, Omnis, you want to come up for a second? We about to leave. Anybody else before we go? That's exactly what started my deconstruct. I wasn't church hurt. If I was church hurt, I would have left at 15 when my cousin's husband sexually did what he did. I would have left at 15. I would have left when the domestic violence. I would have left when a pastor fired me for the musician job because I didn't want to sleep with him. There were so many things that happened. I thought it was normal that you just forgive them and you give them grace. So it wasn't church hurt. I would have left a long time ago. Good, Sherry. We can talk about it. Hit me up and I can share with you some resources. Thanks for this clarity. Have a great, happy Father's Day and summer solstice. Bye. Thank you for your comment. It was amazing. Thank y'all so much. Y'all ready to go? It's time to benedict. Where's the benediction music?
I don't have no benedict music.
Thank you so much.
Those of you that are fathers, if there are any fathers here, I want to say happy birthdays to the fathers that are fathering their kids. That's all I got to say about that. All right. And if you have a father that's not being a father, don't honor that man tomorrow. Well, matter of fact, this is how you honor a father that's not honorable. Don't become who they are.
Yes. Julie, that's powerful. I got a song for us, the one we always sing. Get right, church, leave us alone. Oh, get right, church, leave us alone.
Yeah.
Get right, church. Get right, church. Get right, church, leave us alone. All right, y'all. Until next time. Peace and wellness to you all. And Sherry, we'll get together about that weight loss journey.